Now it's time to welcome my first guest to the show. Franklin Warner has played harmonica with several groups, including the Harmonicats. Franklin, it's nice to have you with us, and after talking to you, I'm learning a lot about the different types of harmonicas. Was the bass harmonica your main instrument?
I've played all the harmonicas, and I've played in a lot of different groups. And then I guess I'm best known for being either bass or lead. And but different groups, I played different harmonicas, whatever slot needs to be filled.
Well, it's great to talk to you, Franklin. By the way, was Jerry Murad the leader when you played with the Harmonicats?
Yeah, Jerry was the leader, and that was the original Harmonicats, which was formed in 1943. In 1947, they had a mega hit, which was a beautiful Irish melody called "Peg of My Heart." Yeah, went to the top of the charts and stayed there, I don't know how many weeks.
Peg of My Heart was number one for 8 weeks, and here's the original version on the Vita Acoustic label out of Chicago. The Harmonicats recorded that song several times, but that was the original version. Franklin Warner, who played with the Harmonicats, is my guest.
All along the way, the original members, Al Fiore and Don Les, which Les was short for Leshinsky, they had people spotted around that could fill in for that person. And I had the good fortune of knowing all of them. And after they all left, Jerry's son, Michael Murad, got the idea to form the trio. And so in that version of the Harmonicats, I was the lead player for a while. Those of us, like myself, pretty much learned to play all the instruments. If they needed a bass player, if they needed a chord or whatever, you can fill in.
Franklin, who were some of the other groups you played with?
I played with so many different groups. I like the Harmonica Rascals. I toured with them, and various other trios and quartets.
We're talking to Franklin Warner, and Franklin, who was the leader of the Harmonica Rascals?
Well, Barminovich was the original leader, but you're talking back in the 1920s and 30s, 40s. And they were very, very well known and popular back in those days. And they did a lot of movies stints and all kind of things because they were so novel. They had a midget that played with them, Johnny Paleo, and again there were multiple midgets that they would call on because Johnny sometimes would be unavailable, and they'd have gigs they're obligated to play, so they'd have other midgets that they could call on and do what Johnny did.
Let's play a selection by the Harmonica Rascals, one called Colonel Bogey. Harmonica player Franklin Warner is my guest, and he is still active.
Almost 85, and, of course I haven't played all that much lately, but if something comes up, I can go fill the bill.
I'm talking to Franklin Warner, who has played with the Harmonicats, the Harmonica Rascals, and others. Franklin, when did you decide you wanted to play the harmonica?
I was 5 years old. I had a first cousin who played guitar, and she had a harmonica, a diatonic harmonica on a neck rack. And so she would play a little harmonica while she played the guitar. And I was just mesmerized by this little instrument. And so she saw me and how it affected me, and she gave me my first harmonica. And I was fascinated by it. And I played and played and played. I guess when I was 12 years old, I had never heard of a bass or chord or chromatic or anything. But one day the radio was going, and I walked in the house and I heard a song. I knew it was harmonicas, but I couldn't imagine what kind. And it was Gallop of the Comedians. I heard that, and man, it just stopped me in my tracks. And I went down and to the record store and described what I'd heard to the lady that ran it. "Oh, you must be talking about." And she handed me an old 78 record. I took it in the sound booth, and sure enough, that was it. And that was what turned me on to the whole world of harmonicas. I bought that, and I didn't have a phonograph, but I had a friend who did. I listened to that thing about 6 or 7 times. I had it memorized cold. Then I had to get a chromatic harmonica, whatever that was. And ultimately, I was told by a friend who had a chromatic harmonica, said he wants to sell that so he can get a better one. I said, well, I'll buy it. So I wasn't satisfied until I could play the chromatic harmonica and play the Gallop of the Comedians on it. So Gallop of the Comedians, Saber Dance, Malagueña, all these wonderful pieces of music. I wasn't satisfied until I learned how to play all of them.
My guest is Franklin Warner. Did you teach yourself to play the harmonica?
Yeah, sure did. You know, I've always had the ability to memorize quickly. If I heard a piece of music, I could listen to it a few times and pretty well memorize it. And as I grew in my experience, then eventually I acquired a bass harmonica and then a chord harmonica. And there's a number of other satellite harmonicas, special effect things, and I've got them all. My life has been a total joy in playing on the harmonica. it's a unique kind of a thing, and I've entertained everywhere. I too have been all over the world.
My guest has been Franklin Warner, who has played with the Harmonicats, the Harmonica Rascals, and many others. Franklin, thank you for being on our show.
Well, absolutely. I'm always willing to talk harmonica.